Most people only see the final product, the lamb on the plate and the wool on the shelf. But what they don't see is the journey that it takes to get there. From the first green grass of spring to the long snowy nights of winter, this story follows an entire year in our operation and the work and love that it takes to turn wild country into valuable and sustainable products sent all over the world. In an age of disposable products, we choose something different. We choose durability over convenience, stewardship over speed, and work that matters even when no one is watching. This is about keeping the West alive, about caring for the land, the livestock, and a way of life we wouldn't trade for anything else. And maybe along the way, it's about reconnecting all of us with the rancher that still lives inside. This is the work behind the wool, the lamb, and the land that still feeds us all. This is Raising American Lamb in the West. Every story is best told from the beginning. This is where ours starts. Our ranges are spread out across the state of Utah and into Nevada. We go where the feed is and where we have permits to graze the land. Some are close to home and some aren't. It takes a lot of moving on trucks and on foot to get everything where they need to be from season to season. We have a guy that lives with these sheep all year long. Where the sheep go, he goes. Our guys are an essential part of what we do, and what we do wouldn't be possible without them and the tremendous work that they do. Each herder spends much of his time with the sheep, using dogs to herd, keep them together, stay safe from predators, and always be on the best feed possible. With winter over, it's time to gather everything off the desert and bring them home to prepare for shearing, lambing, and the beginning of another year. Our sheep spend the winter several hours away from the ranch, and it takes a lot to get everything gathered up in the corral, loaded on trucks, and headed back home. There is a lot of scheduling involved in the spring. Our goal is to be as efficient as possible. When sheep are at the ranch, they eat hay, and a lot of it. The more time they're at the ranch, the more hay they're going to eat. We try to bring the sheep home as close as we can to lambing and shearing time in order to save on the amount of hay we need to feed them. We stagger when the sheep will begin to have their lambs, so we're able to bring in one herd at a time, get them shorn, worked, sorted, and into the lambing sheds. The job of a shearer is a hard one, especially that of the plant manager in charge of all the scheduling. We schedule with our shearing crew many months in advance to make sure they can get to us and so we can plan when to bring the sheep home from the winter range. Sheep cannot be shorn if the wool is wet. It is packaged in heavy bags very tightly. If there is any moisture in the bag, it can ruin the entire thing. The early spring weather can be particularly difficult and uncooperative. If there is rain or snow, the shearing has to stop unless there is a way for them to stay dry. If not, they have to wait until the wool dries again before they are able to continue shearing. With so many producers in a line to be shorn, this can make things very complicated. If one guy is bumped one day, the next guy down the line is too, and so is the next guy and the next guy, and on and on. We are at the mercy of the weather and the shearers doing their best to make it to countless ranches during the shearing season. We are always happy to see them when they show up ready to shear. Sheep need to be shorn once every year or their wool grows extremely heavy and uncomfortable during the hot months of summer to come. This process does not hurt the sheep, and they are always glad to have their yearly haircut. Shearing is an art. If you ever have a chance to watch a sheep get shorn, it is truly an amazing thing to watch. Shearers dance with the sheep, moving and shifting it from side to side, placing weight from left to right, making sure the sheep is as comfortable as possible and remaining in control at all times to make sure the shearer and the sheep are safe as possible. As the wool is taken from the sheep, it is passed under the chute and to the workers on the outside of the shearing plant. They take the wool, sort it based on quality, and pack it into wool bales. Each one of these bales, when fully packed, will weigh over 450 pounds. It takes around 40 fleeces to fill each one of these bags. Wool goes into products like clothing, insulation, bedding, fertilizer, carpet, furniture, and so much more. It truly is an amazing product used all over the world in countless ways. When all the sheep are shorn for the year, all of our wool is loaded onto a truck and taken to the marketing company to sell. After all the sheep have been shorn, they work their way into our Tapari squeeze chute to be checked over. We check each one individually to make sure they're happy and healthy. We care about the health of our sheep very much. If they're happy and healthy, then so are we. We do our best to make sure everything is taken care of and in the best shape possible. As they go through the squeeze, we take the opportunity as well to judge if and when most likely they are going to have their lambs and are sorted accordingly. Those that are closest head into our lambing sheds to prepare to have their lambs. The sheep are brought into heated barns where someone is with them almost 24 hours a day. We mix hay for the sheep to eat so they stay strong and full. They can go inside or outside depending on the weather and where they want to be. As the ewes have their lambs, they're brought into small pens. Here, they're able to bond with their lambs, make sure they're getting cleaned off, and have enough to eat. We give the lambs a supplement to give them a jump start. Iodine their umbilical cord to make sure they're clean and sterilized when they're in such a confined space. While the ewes are inside, they have a feeder full of hay pellets to eat and access to water all the time. Within a short amount of time, we turn the ewes and their new lambs into a small pen with others so they can get out, exercise, and start to run and grow, and the lambs can learn to follow their mothers. We slowly increase the amount of ewes and lambs in different pens, moving and combining, until we have enough for a full herd. Then, it's time for them to be moved into the spring ranges. These sheep will once again be with a full-time herder to tend, move, care, and protect them and their new lambs. We move sheep every single day in the spring, from pen to pen and range to range, on trucks big and small, and on foot, sometimes close and sometimes far. We go from being mostly in one place to being spread back out into various ranges and pastures, each of which comes with their own set of advantages, challenges, and trials. With the temperature rising and the snow gone, water needs to be brought into the sheep on some of the ranges. We bring water troughs and haul water out of different wells and springs every day to the herds that need it. As the green grass comes, the lambs continue to grow. They learn to follow their mothers, and another year begins. Springtime is the busiest time of year for us. There are lots of long days, short nights, hours in trucks, and lots to get moved, fed, and done. It takes countless hours to get these new lambs here and countless more to keep them alive, happy, healthy, and growing. Even in this, the busiest time of year, running on very little sleep, lots of hamburgers, and fast food on the go, we love what we do. We are proud to be part of such an amazing industry and to provide such an amazing product like wool and American lamb to the world. It takes a lot of teamwork, but somehow we make it all work so we can keep living our dream. the herds on spring country and the green grass and new lambs beginning to grow, we start the next leg of our journey and head into long days, shorter nights, and the joys of summer. With the warmer weather, the grass and the lambs begin to grow. The snow begins melting off the mountain and the summer ranges, so it's time to truck everything home from the spring range and get them to greener pastures. Our sheep are in several different places in the spring. Not quite as far as in the winter months, but it still takes a lot to get them loaded and home. Most of the places we go in the spring don't have a permanent corral, so we need to bring panels and wire netting to build one in order to gather the sheep and get them on the trucks. Corralling this many sheep and little lambs can be difficult. The lambs are still learning how to follow and herd. By now though, they are pretty good at walking, running, and playing. When they get excited and start running, it can turn into what we call a lampede. It can happen in a hurry, and luckily, with good dogs and help, we are usually able to get everything contained without too much trouble. When we load ewes and lambs to move to a different range, we load them lighter than usual so they have plenty of room to move around. We load the lambs right on the trucks with the ewes, which helps train and teach them to go on and off trucks even at a young age, making it definitely easier for the future times we load. It's amazing to me, even though these lambs get mixed together, scrambled up, and loaded on trucks, then unloaded, mixed together again, and put in a new place they have never been, these little lambs will listen for the sound of their mothers and will find them again. The ewes recognize their lambs by their scent and sound and are able to get them gathered up and ready to move to the next place together. From the spring range, the sheep are trucked either to the ranch, where they will wait to be trailed to their summer range, or trucked directly up the mountain and to their summer home. We have grazing permits that allow us to feed our sheep on national forest ground during the summer months. Luckily, most of them are relatively close to home. We go from being spread across the entire state of Utah to being back at home on the mountain range that runs by the ranch. It makes for a nice change to have all the sheep close to home again. However, the early summer can be a tricky time for us. We are finishing spring feed and waiting for the grass to grow and the snow to melt on the mountain so we can begin feeding. Each grazing permit has different times that we're able to start grazing depending on the elevation, snow, and the quality of the feed in the early summer. Most of our early permits allow us to head for the mountain toward the middle and the end of June. It makes for some busy weeks in the early summer. Between putting up first crop hay and moving sheep around, there are a lot of early mornings and lots of good long days. We have herds that spend the summer in places that are not accessible to our semi-trucks. These herds will be kept at the base of the mountain on different pastures until our mountain permit opens. Then they will be trailed to our allotted grazing ground using horses and dogs. We are usually able to get the sheep to where they need to be relatively quickly. The sheep usually know where they're going, and with all the good help we have around here, it always makes for an enjoyable day. Luckily, most of our herds we are able to truck to the top of the mountain and begin the summer at the very top. Once the sheep are where they need to be, the herder will once again be alone with them to tend, care, and guide them to the best feed. Every year, we are given a grazing plan by the Forest Service detailing where we will feed and where it will be most beneficial for both us and the land to be grazed and for how long. Every year, we rotate grazing plans so we can utilize the feed in the most productive way possible, without overgrazing. We document the moves we make, where our sheep are, and when, so a plan can be made for the years to come. Sheep are amazing conservationists. They eat weeds and plants other animals won't. This helps all the other native plants to be healthy and have the room and nutrients they need to grow. This also drastically reduces the risk of wildfire. A responsible grazing permit is beneficial for everyone. With plants and animals coexisting, it creates a better ecosystem and a healthier future for our forest and rangelands, to be enjoyed and utilized by so many generations to come. The herder that stays with the sheep lives in a special trailer called a sheep camp. They are meant for living in year-round, no matter the terrain or the weather. They're a lot more durable than your average camp trailer, which allows us to get the herder where they need to be. We put them as close as we can to where the sheep will be feeding each week so they can do their job the best they can. Every week, our guys need supplies. They send us a list of the things that they need and we bring it to them. This includes groceries and water for them, propane, hay for the horses, food for the dogs, salt for the sheep, and anything else that they may need or want. With each herd, there is 2 horses, dogs to help herd the sheep, and several other dogs that stay with the sheep all the time. Our Border Collie dogs are an essential part of our everyday operation. Without them, what we do would not be possible. These dogs stay with our herders all the time. They go out to work every day and return to the camp when the work is done. These dogs help move, guide, and push the sheep to where the herder is going to graze them for that day, and guide them and gather them in the bedground at night. They climb hills, go around the sheep, and do whatever the herder needs to best take care of his sheep. They make his job not only easier, but possible. To say that they love what they do is an understatement, and they hate to be left behind on their days off. In order to make sure all the dogs are well rested and taken care of, the herder will take 1 or 2 dogs at a time and give the others a day off to rest and recuperate on these long, early summer days. Along with the herd dogs, the herder also has another kind of dog that has a completely different job. You may have seen them if you have ever been around a herd of sheep. They are big, white, and can look pretty intimidating. These are our livestock protection dogs, and they do exactly what their name says. They keep our livestock safe. Although most of our dogs are very friendly, it's best to leave them alone and let them do what they do best. They are there to keep the sheep safe from predators, and they do a great job. However, what they do often leaves them roaming around, making sure predators keep their distance. And even though you may see them and not the sheep, rest assured they know where they are and where their herd is, and I can promise you they are not lost. If you see a lone dog seemingly in a strange or lonely place, please leave it be. The herder feeds and takes care of all his dogs every single day. They are part of his responsibility, and I can assure you that they are being watched over and well taken care of. Not only are we busy moving sheep from the spring range to the summer ranges, but we are also busy starting another year of farming and growing feed for the winter and spring to come. We raise alfalfa hay, both for the sheep and horses. We need hay for the horses all year as they are with the herd, and lots of hay for the sheep in the winter and the spring when they return to the ranch for lambing. It takes a lot of time and tractors and a lot of hands and tires to get everything done around here, whether it's trucks, tractors, four-wheelers, motorcycles, combines, swathers, trailers, or backhoes. Everything has to have tires that are round on all sides and safe to go down the road. All of our water comes from the mountains near the ranch. When we get a lot of snow in the winter, we have water to put on our crops and fields using wheel lines and hand lines that have to be moved every day. On good years, we're able to get 3 crops of hay, and our rangelands grow sufficient feed for our livestock. On hard winters, we produce less hay and our ranges don't grow as much feed, making it much more difficult during the spring, summer, and fall. There is so much about what we do that depends on Mother Nature. That's why it's so important to have good guys like we do to make sure our ranges don't get overused and overfed. Our sheep are constantly being moved. They're grazed in a way to keep overgrown areas in check without overgrazing, giving the grasses time to grow and be healthy year after year. As a rancher, it is so important for us to take care of the land. We care about the health of the plants and grasses. Healthy ranges mean healthy sheep, and that is what matters to us. We look forward to summer all year long, but as fast as it comes, if we blink twice, it seems like it's already over. The leaves start turning colors, there's a chill in the air on the mountain, and fall is knocking on our door. Summer's over, and the beginning of fall is upon us. The days are getting shorter, the air's getting colder on the mountain, and it's time to go separate ways with the ewes and lambs, all of which is done on trucks. Before we start trucking, fall gives us the opportunity to go through each of our trucks and trailers and all their tires and make sure we are ready for the long hauls ahead. We can't afford breakdowns or problems when it comes to moving livestock, especially this time of year. We're going to go with one bunch of ewes or lambs several times a week. Whether down the mountain to the ranch or across the west and into different states, safety is our top priority, both ours and yours. We all want to come home at the end of the day. In order to do that, we need our trucks running and working their best so that we can too. There's a lot more to raising lambs than you might think. In order to move when we need to move and do what we need to do, we rely on trucks to be in good working condition so that we can load, move, and haul at a moment's notice. Part of this is making sure all of our tires are in good shape and round on all sides. We don't like tires that are flat on the bottom, and we sure try to keep everything with good rubber all the way around, trucks and trailers. As you can imagine, there's more than just a few tires around this place. It takes a lot to keep everything good to go and in working shape. Fall is especially busy for us. We use this time to take an extra look at each truck, each trailer, and each tire. Consequently, a lot of our repairs and tire changes are done now before we start to haul these longer distances. As we begin to start shipping our lambs, there is a lot of coordinating that goes into when each herd will go, based on feed, location, elevation, weather, and accessibility for our trucks. We need to coordinate with the buyer of our lambs so they can prepare to receive them on their end and be ready when they arrive. We have herds that are scattered across the mountain range here in central Utah and near the ranch. A few years ago, we were able to build a new creel that has a central location for 4 of our herds, 3 of which are just a short walk from being able to use this creel, and we try to plan our first bunch of lambs to be shipped to come out of these 3 herds and using the new creel. Each herd has to be brought close to the creel so we can get them in before dark, but kept staggered enough to give us space to bring in 1 herd at a time. Each herd will be ran through the creel, the lambs separated off, the ewes worked, and then brought back to their respective permit until it's time to bring them off the mountain and to the fall range. It's important to keep all the herds separate in order to make this process easier. It's quite the sight to see 3 whole bunches of sheep in one place, to see the fruits of another long year of work, worry, and stress. Seeing all those sheep in one place and being able to watch the sun go down behind them is something I never get tired of. It means we have made it through another summer, and it's time to do some serious trucking, which is one of my favorite parts of what we do. As we load, we make sure all the lambs are counted and locked into compartments in the trailer to keep them safe and comfortable on their long journey. All the sheep are brought from the back of the creel to the front through the chute. As they get to the front of the chute, we have a cut gate to sort the ewes from the lambs. We load 1 truck at a time, and the ewes are run back into the creel for the next step in their adventure, which we'll get to in a minute. After we're loaded, we hit the road and head down the mountain to a scale where we will weigh trucks and make sure we have a legal load before hitting the highway and heading to the feedlot where the buyer sends us and where we will unload the lambs. We try to get all of our lambs out of our herds within a week or 2. Once we start trucking, we usually go to one after another to get everything sorted, moved, and where they need to be for fall. We load out of several different corrals and places, and usually it goes pretty quick with all the good help we have. Once we're loaded and scaled, we hit the road and go wherever we need to go to unload our woolly cargo. It usually takes all day. By the time we load, come off the mountain, and make it to where we need to be, we usually sleep in the trucks and unload the next morning when the sun comes up. After we unload and all the lambs have made it to their new home, we clean up, hit the road again, and head for home and on to the next load. As the trucks head down the road with the lambs, back at the creel, all the ewes are going through their fall routine as well. While we have the sheep in one place, it gives us the opportunity to go through and give a close look at our herds. We have ear tags in all of our sheep that are color-coded to the year that they were born. This helps us go through and sort off all of the older sheep. That way we can make sure we give close attention to anything that needs help. We give all the sheep medicine to keep them healthy, and those sheep that are too old for our operation, we sort off and sell at a different time. Now is the perfect time to give them a new brand of paint. That will remain on them for fall and winter. Depending on the color and shape of the brand, this helps us know where the sheep will be placed for the last part of the year and which herd it belongs to. Brands and ear tags are extremely important because it differentiates our sheep to someone else's. On our summer ranges, we're close neighbors to other sheep producers, and occasionally herds and sheep can mix. Having a brand and an ear tag makes sure sheep always end up back where they need to be when they get mixed with someone else's. As we get ewes worked and sorted to where they need to go, some will remain on the mountain for a few more weeks, and others we load right on the trucks to get off the mountain. Over the next several weeks, we will be shuffling a lot of sheep from the summer range to the fall range, some on foot and some on trucks, but either way, it's time to move. With all the lambs sorted and the ewes being moved to fall country, it's time for the next step in our fall adventure. We bring in all the sheep once again and go through a process called tagging. Tagging explained is every sheep is brought through a shearing plant, same as in the spring, but this time around they won't be getting a complete shave. We shave off the wool around the eyes so the sheep can see clearly going into the winter months. Thick wool over the face and eyes that doesn't get taken off can cause wool blindness, a condition where the wool over the eyes gets so overgrown it prevents the sheep from being able to see. There are times where the same wool can get wet in the snow or rain, and in freezing temperatures it can freeze closed over their eyes, preventing them from seeing anything at all. We avoid this by shaving around their face to keep it clean and prevent any future problems. Along with the eyes, we shave around their rear in order to keep everything clean going into fall and winter, and it helps with the bucking process coming up around the corner. We've reached the time of year where we need to start preparing for next year's lambs to get here. After sheep are tagged, we put them on alfalfa fields to feed off what's left of the year's crop. This is great feed, and it helps give the sheep a boost for fall, and more importantly, it jumpstarts their reproductive system and gets everything working on time and in sync with the rest of the herd. We need to plan in advance for next year starting at this point. From the day we put in our rams, the ewe will have a 5-month pregnancy, give or take a week or two. We need to plan which herd will need to come off the winter range first, how early they will need to come in before the next herd so we can plan for shearing on each individual bunch. We need to make sure there will be enough space in the lambing sheds to fit all the ewes coming in, and so forth. There is a lot of planning that goes into when we will turn in our rams to start doing their thing, because so much hinges on when the lambs come 5 months later. We try and put harnesses on some of our first bucks. When they work, the harnesses have a block of chalk that will mark each ewe. We can go into the herd after a few days and tell which sheep have been bred and which ones have not. This helps us because we're able to tell which of the ewes are more likely to lamb first because they've been bred first. We take off the harnesses on the bucks after a certain amount of days and leave them to finish working the rest of the herd. When we come in from the winter range in the spring, we will be able to separate the herd based on the marks and put in the first lambers, leaving the rest of the herd in a different place for a few days. Those few days make a big difference when we're crowded in the lambing sheds. It allows us to have a little more control of the herd and where we put them and when. Our sheep are constantly in motion, whether it be from one pasture to another, the mountain to the fall range, or across 3 states to the feedlot. We are always on the go. Planning for next year starts months and months in advance. Everything we do hinges on what we did last year and how well we planned. Not always does it work out the way we wanted it to, but sometimes it does. We are constantly trying to better our program and system so we can find a better way to do what we do. Fall is a great time of year. The days are getting shorter, the weather is getting cooler, and we have successfully taken another year and wild country to produce the amazing product that is American lamb. Although this is not the end of our story, we have seen the lambs come, grow, and be loaded onto a truck and sent to the feedlot to finish growing. But our ewes are just beginning another cycle with a fresh bunch of lambs in the works and coming our way in the not-so-distant future. We now need to do what we can to make sure our sheep are fed, healthy, and happy during the long winter months to come. We've ended one cycle and began another by loading grown lambs on trucks and shipping them across the west to their new home. Meanwhile, the ewes have been checked over and moved to fall country with a haircut to go with it. The leaves on the trees have fallen, the fall is coming to a close, and we get ready for the next and final step in our journey of raising American lamb by heading into winter. The beginning of winter comes in much the same way as the rest of the seasons, on trucks. With fall feed gone, tagging completed, and the weather getting colder, we prepared to head to our winter range on the desert. Before we move everything to the desert, we take the opportunity to bring some of the sheep in and ultrasound. Ultrasounding usually is a pretty quick process, and we can run through a bunch of sheep pretty quickly. Our goal with ultrasounding our ewes is to know which ones are going to have 2 lambs and which are going to have 1. Knowing this makes a big difference for us in the springtime. By knowing which ewes will have 2 lambs, we know that those are the ones that are going to need more attention, so we'll bring them through our lambing sheds when the time comes. Those that are going to have 1 single lamb require a lot less attention. We're able to take those and put them in small bunches around the ranch in open pastures to lamb on their own. This reduces the amount of sheep in our overcrowded lambing sheds and helps save on feed in the spring. With sheep gathered off hayfields and fall country, our next step is to bring everything into a corral and get them loaded on a truck, bound for the winter range on the desert, where they will stay until spring. The desert is a beautiful place with wide open spaces, rocky hills, and more animals than there are people. This range is different than all the other areas we feed. Instead of staying close together and feeding on a concentrated amount of grass, sheep in the winter range spread out. There's less feed, but there's more space to move, and they do. They spread out as far as the eye can see so they get enough feed for what they need. It may look desolate, but there are so many plants, bushes, and grasses that the sheep like to eat, and it takes getting down on their level to see what's keeping them going. One disadvantage of being on the desert is water. When and where we move all depends on water and how easily accessible it is to the herd. During most winters we have snow. If there is snow, the sheep get their daily water intake through eating the snow and plants. The snow makes certain plants more palatable, and they thrive when there's snow. Sheep are happy, the herding is easy, and it makes the work a whole lot easier, which is better for everyone. We love to see snow, but there are years like this year that we have had very little of it. What few storms did come did not put down very much, and the snow that did stay on the ground was gone within a few hours or days. On years like this, it's up to us to bring the water to the sheep so they can stay on the best feed possible. We have various wells and springs we haul water out of. It's usually a pretty slow process. Water fills slow, trucks go slow, and most of the roads are rough, and someone has to be on the desert to haul the water. We lay out troughs in an area central to where the sheep are feeding so they can come in and get a good drink every single day. As the sheep move, we move the troughs with them so the water stays close to the sheep and they stay on the best feed. The wide open spaces of western Utah are so unique in their beauty. It's a place that's calm, peaceful, and quiet. It reminds you of what times used to be like. There may be few people, but in no way is it empty. There are so many things that fill this land with beauty, and we feel privileged to spend time out here, to be able to utilize this land and turn it into something more than just an out-of-the-way place. One thing that always stands out to me on the desert is the fact that the sheep are able to not only survive, but thrive. They're able to produce wool, a natural fiber used all over the world in so many different ways, all from plants, shrubs, and vegetation on a land that isn't usable for almost anything else. Grazing responsibly creates a healthy ecosystem, keeping plants growing and healthy and making the land a renewable energy source for years and years to come instead of just going to waste. We love to have a good relationship with the guys that work with us from the Bureau of Land Management. We have the same common goal, utilizing natural resources to better our environment and Utah's public lands. We love the products we can provide by using natural resources and turning desert and mountain rangeland into fine wool clothing and a healthy, delicious protein source. Hauling water on the desert gives us the opportunity to spend time with our guys taking care of the sheep. These are some amazing individuals that do a tremendous work. It can be overwhelming to look out your front door and not see a single soul, to be alone with only your dogs and horse to keep you company. Luckily, even hundreds of miles from nowhere, they can still talk to their family on the phone and keep in touch. Back home at the ranch, every year for New Year's, we have the chance to celebrate and gather with neighbors and family to eat lamb and sourdough biscuits and enjoy being together. It's a great opportunity for those who have never had lamb to try it, and those who have to eat until they can't eat anymore. We usually cook 3 whole lambs, and there is never any left over at the end of the day. We take the winter time to go through our equipment, tractors, trailers, and feed the few sheep that we have around home. It takes a lot of preparation to get ready for lambing in the spring and the year to come. There are so many people that are out there fighting for our way of life, both at a state level with our Utah Wool Growers Association and at a national level with the American Sheep Industry, the National Wool Council, the American Lamb Board, and too many others to name. The West is changing, and I'm glad there are people out there fighting for us and our way of life. The hard work they do often goes unrecognized and unappreciated, but because of great men and women out there lobbying for agriculture, I have been able to spend my life doing what I love, and more importantly, doing it with my family, working, living, and providing a life that we wouldn't trade for any other. I feel beyond privileged to share what we do with you. I'm glad I'm able to represent even a small part of what it takes for American lamb and wool to come to be, to make it from our small link in the chain to you and many others around the world. At the end of the year, there's no finish line. Just animals fed, land cared for, and a job done the right way. This life doesn't promise comfort or certainty. It asks for early mornings, late nights, and the humility to work with nature instead of against it. But in return, it gives us purpose. It gives us something real in a world that's become disposable. Raising American lamb and wool isn't about going backward. It's about holding on to what matters, about stewardship, responsibility, and pride in honest work, about keeping the West alive one season at a time. This is why we choose this life. And as long as there's land to care for and livestock to tend, the work goes on. This is what it takes for us to raise American lamb and wool in the West. 365 days a year, one step at a time, keeping the West alive for the rancher and all of us. This is the life we live out here on the range.